So there are simple truths like this that I think you and me can agree on, right? But there are also others that I rather doubt are true after almost 20 years of doing street photography. They are not only not true, they are rather a hindrance to becoming a better street photographer. We need to talk about the most misleading views about street photography you need to be aware of. Yes, I know everyone, including me, always claims that it doesn't matter which camera you use for street photography, whether it's an old Olympus or the latest Leica. It's the photographer who takes the photo, not the camera. Well, that's true, but you still need the right camera for that, but not how you may think. When we are talking about a great camera, most of the times we are talking about the results, so the quality of the photos. But what comes before the finished photo? Right, the time with your camera out on the streets. And that has to be fun. And every photographer has different needs. For example, I spent a long time thinking about why I prefer to shoot with a Fuji X100V or X-T4 rather than the Ricoh TR3. And I think it's because the Ricoh just doesn't feel as good in the hand for me as the Fuji X100V. It's simply too small for my relatively large hands, and it's factors like that that decide whether you go out regularly to take photos. I've had the Sony A7C II for a while now. I mainly use it for videos, but the photo quality is also simply stunning. But how many times do you think I have taken photos with it? Maybe 2 or 3 times. The camera is the perfect size and sits well in the hand, but I miss the small dials I have on the Fuji camera so that I always have all the settings at a glance. On the Sony I have to go into the menu for a lot of things, which just takes some joy out of doing street photography with it. Nowadays it doesn't really matter which camera you choose when it comes to image quality, as all modern cameras are actually very similar. But you should find out for yourself which camera you enjoy using for your needs. Ideally by borrowing a particular camera for a few hours or 1 or 2 days, for example from friends or your friendly camera shop. A statement that actually sounds great. Photograph everything that interests you. Basically, you should photograph exactly what makes you happy. But if you go out and take street portraits on one day, macro flower photography the next, and rubbish bins the day after that, this could lead to a problem. On the one hand, I believe that you should concentrate on a certain type of photography at least at the beginning in order to become really good at it before moving on to the next genre. Then you usually know quite quickly what you want to concentrate on, for example street and portraits or architecture or landscape photography. So if you do too many types of photography at the same time, preferably with different cameras and different lenses every day, this can lead to you not making enough progress in the individual areas and completely losing the joy of photography in the end. There are also people who do so very well, but I think it's important for most newcomers to limit themselves to 1 or a maximum of 2 areas of photography at the beginning in order to get to know other people who do exactly this genre, such as street photography, and give you the feedback you need to progress. Newcomers to photography are much more likely to find the support they need from others if they concentrate on one area of photography. And by focusing more on a specific area, they also experience progress in their photography more quickly. Speaking of focusing, my channel is all about street photography. Consider subscribing if you like this kind of videos. I'm also very happy about any like or comment. Thank you very much. There are great books, websites and YouTube videos on the subject of street photography. And there's nothing wrong with that. It all provides a great foundation for you to get started in street photography. If it's not for those special kind of YouTube videos that just want to sell you the latest camera and try to convince you that the camera you bought 2 years ago is already outdated. But in the end, there is only one thing that will get you further in photography, and that is, you know it, to spend every free hour with your camera on the street, with a camera you know very well. No book, no website, no video has helped me as much as simply spending a lot of time out photographing. After all, every setting is different to the one described in the video or website, and then you have to act spontaneously anyways. And this is the only way to learn how to take the photos that are really yours, in your city, with your camera and your special preferences. So don't take things like books and YouTube videos like this here too seriously. They can lead you in the right direction, but the main part of learning takes place out on the streets. So what makes street photography so great for me is that it doesn't take much. A bit of time, a camera and maybe the right weather, then you're ready to go. You may think you are not dependent on others taking you on. Well, yes, it's not a team sport, but ultimately it is, at least if you want to do it for a longer period of time. In the beginning, these little escapes are great, roaming the streets on your own and letting off steam in a creative way. But at some point you'll want feedback that goes beyond Instagram comments. And for that you should look for a small circle of like-minded people. People you can talk to about photography, who motivate you to go out even in the rain and who might give you new ideas. We humans are social creatures in the end. We need people in front of the camera to take interesting photos. But sometimes we also need people next to us who share the same interests and help us move forward. That doesn't mean that you don't go out photographing on your own. I go out photographing about 60 or 70% on my own and maybe 30 or 40 with others. I think that's a pretty good ratio. Buying the expensive equipment, getting up early to shoot in the first light of the day, people looking at us strangely on the street or even getting aggressive. We do all that for good photos that come out in the end, right? Well, I suggest you play a thought game. What will you remember most at the end of your life when it comes to photography? The one great picture you took, the good decision to buy a full-frame camera. I think in the end I will remember the moments when I was with the ones I love and doing what I love. And I think that might be the case for many of you. At the end of the day, it's not about the great photos that come out, it's about the vitamin D and the joy you give yourself on your photo tours and the people you meet on the way. So trust your instincts when it comes to street photography. Even if you don't get a great picture for a long time, ask yourself, did I still have a good time? If your answer is yes to this question, just keep going. The photos you aim for will come again, for sure. Hope that helps. Let me know what you think down in the comments and see you in the next video.